I got remarried at the same wedding venue, and now I'm my ex-aunt. Here's the kicker. My ex-groom called my bridesmaid's name during our wedding vows. I promise to love you, Yuliana Zabel, forever. Honestly, I could accept anyone, but not her. Yuliana, my bridesmaid, my bestie. Before the shock could fully register, the wedding's massive screen lit up, and then it happened. Colton and Yuliana, tangled in bed, moans and whispered endearments spilling out, shamelessly exposed for everyone to see. Tears blurred my vision. I stumbled, desperate to escape, only to collide with someone in a wheelchair. He wore gold-rimmed glasses, and a vivid scar cut across his face. Mr. Hudson, I whispered, recognizing him immediately. Sebastian Hudson, Colton's uncle, once the golden boy of the Hudson family, until a fire 3 years ago left him scarred and bound to a wheelchair. Where are you going? Sebastian's voice was cold, steady. Colton caught up to me, panic written all over his face. Nick, it's all a misunderstanding. I slipped up, that's all. I let out a bitter laugh. A misunderstanding. Colton, now you can only get close to me in your wild fantasies. His expression twisted, and his voice dropped to a menacing whisper. I made a mistake, but I'm still a Hudson. You can't just walk away from this wedding. The weight of the Hudson name hung between us like a threat. Walking away would be like slapping their family in the face, a declaration of war. There's no way in hell I'd marry a guy like Colton. I'd rather marry a cockroach. At least they don't waste my time. I promised to marry someone from the Hudson family, I said, my voice calm but cutting. But not you. My legs felt shaky, but I forced myself to stand tall as I turned toward Sebastian. Every step I felt like it echoed through the hall. When I reached him, I pulled out the diamond ring, the one that should been on my finger. I looked up, meeting his gaze head-on. Sebastian Hudson, I said, my voice clear but trembling at the edges. Will you marry me? He stunned for 2 seconds, and coldly spit out 2 words. Reason, I will give you my whole heart. I've successfully caught his interest. He replied quickly, his voice low, you don't mind my scars, or the fact that I'll always be in this wheelchair. I held his gaze, steadying my breath. Your scars are just part of your story. They don't define you. And, as for your legs, I can carry you. I hit the gym pretty often. His eyes searched mine for what felt like an eternity. Then, slowly, he raised his hand. Mrs. Hudson, it does have a nice ring to it. Relief washed over me. But deep down, I knew this was only the beginning. I was betting everything that Sebastian would be better than the man who betrayed me. And that's all it was, a gamble. Then, completely ignoring the stunned crowd behind him, he led me away. I felt like I was in a daydream. When I found myself standing outside City Hall, in my hands, a marriage certificate. My name, Mrs. Hudson, stared back at me in black and white. Does it sound surreal? But I'd actually done it. I'd married Sebastian Hudson. The next morning, I sat at my desk, mindlessly scrolling through my messages. There was no time to dwell on family drama. I had a life to rebuild. My phone buzzed, jolting me out of my thoughts. A text popped up from an unknown number. I'll pick you up at 6. Sebastian. I stared at the screen, caught off guard. I hadn't expected him to reach out so soon. After that abrupt goodbye at City Hall, neither of us had made an effort to contact the other. I'd assumed we'd keep our distance for a while, married in name but otherwise strangers. At precisely 6, a sleek black Maybach pulled up in front of my workplace. The tinted window lowered, revealing Sebastian's scarred yet undeniably striking face. Get in, he said, his voice calm and steady, as though this were all perfectly normal. I slid into the passenger seat. Where are we going? I asked. To the house, Sebastian replied. Not